This is real race talk from Texas. It's the Revved Up Sports Show. Here's Bobby Chaffee and Rodney Rodriguez.
Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to the original, the show, the one that started it all. This is indeed another edition of the Revved Up Sports Show. Showtime, Bobby Chaffee, down south in the High Five Racing Studios. Rodney Rodriguez up north in the Revved Up Studios, coming to you live again on this Monday. Not quite as hot as we thought Monday, but definitely coming off some hot racing action, Bobby, there at Houston Motorsports Park.
That weekend at Houston, I have never sweated as bad as I did that weekend. And I sweat a lot. I mean, I had people like bringing me water. It's like, here. I'm like, no, I'm sorry. I do this. Dude, that was flat ass hot.
It was bad. It was pretty rough.
And the whole thing is, I mean, we keep seeing this to where it's like, dude, it's only June 12th, and that was June 10th. It's only going to get worse. But you know, Bobby, the biggest problem that we always wear black, right?
I know the marketing department's got to step it up and get us some new shirts.
Well, you know, the whole thing is I was trying to be proactive on that whole thing this past weekend to where it's like, okay, I'm going to wear my H&P shirt, you know, provided by Owen Pittman and the great folks there at 317 Awards. I'll wear an undershirt. Dude, it was like, I got to the hotel and I took all that stuff off and I think it could like walk. It was so nasty. That was gross. Oh my God, it was hot. But that's Houston. That's Bayou, my brother. That's what we do.
It was hot until it started raining, and then it wasn't.
Well, that only made it worse. I mean, that was part of the thing right there. A great program that was put all together right there. And I got to tell you, seamless program. That was a dirt track racing program. Dirt track done the right way. Because I was telling some people on Sunday, I had some phone calls about, you know, talking about the short track show there at Houston, and it's like I kept saying it was a dirt track show, and I'm like, and a couple of people were like, well, wait a minute, they race till 2 a.m. I'm like, well, no, this is the way it's supposed to be.
Not the shows that Owen run on a dirt track. No way.
Oh my goodness, what a great show! I mean, it really was, and the folks. I got to tell you, the biggest part of it for me was all the people that hung around. I mean, when that lightning started, I'm like, oh shit. Here we go. They're going to head for the turnstiles, but they didn't. They stayed.
They even stayed for the bootleggers.
Dude, there were people, when the bootleggers ended, I get done. I'm signing off for the night. I'm like, see y'all next time. They were still sitting there drinking beer because a lot of people had bought 6 beers. And it's like, I'm going to sit here in the bleachers and drink beer. And then the wind came. Dude. I thought you were holding the door when I was trying to get out of that damn press box. I'm like,
it wasn't me. That was Mother Nature holding that door for you, dude.
I was sitting there and I'm like pushing on the door. I'm like, bitch, let me out. There was nobody there. That I mentioned this to a couple of different people. I'm like going down the stairs there. You know how you go down the backside at Houston. I'm like, I am so glad that I had not been drinking that day because it would have knocked me over. It was like 50 miles per hour. That was crazy.
Yeah, you should have been stuck in the tower afterwards when the rain started hitting. It got to be 50, 60 that straight lined winds. Poor guys that get to pick up the garbage there at H&P. I think all the infield garbage cans kind of flew on down from turn 4 down to turn 1, but it was pretty rough. That's one of the more rougher storms that I've been at in terms of my tenure there at H&P, but it was all in all. I mean, the fact that we got that entire show in with the rain delay that we had to start the evening, and the rain delay there, you know, made it through the end of the rain and got it done, and not too much controversy. A little bit of controversy.
It proves that it can be done. And here's the full disclosure, and I'm going to say this, even though that Owen's probably going to kick my ass the next time he sees me. We got all that done without a wrecker. There was not a wrecker there. Yeah. And then Clayton Green sticks it in the fence, and I've seen racetracks, you know, with 3 or 4 wreckers trying to get stuff off of the wall and everything, and they can't do it. It's funny how that worked out. Maybe we shouldn't have a wrecker because Clay Green's car came off the wall real damn quick, and he stuck it ass in first into the fence. but I'm not laughing at him because I know his mom is going to text me and say, "Don't laugh at my son." But that was efficient, very efficient.
Very efficient show, very very cool show. Lots of stuff happening, and I think all things considered, though, some people had questions about the crowd. I thought all things considered, with that weather forecast both in the afternoon and that evening, I thought it was a pretty decent crowd for all things considered.
Yeah, yeah. I thought it was really good, really good. Already a couple of comments there. Folks checking in. Michael Lindsay Motorsports looked good. I was at the beach with a cold one. Well, that's great. Good for you. I was sweating.
Lucky you. Lucky
I was
you.
sweating my ass off over there in the stands. So good for you. I hope you enjoyed your time there. Seeing stuff there. Heck of a show with the Dwarfs at Cotton Bowl Speedway. I did see that, and I got to tell you, here's the cool thing. I think I told you this, Bobby. I got done. We got done there at Houston. I went back to the hotel, and I got back in the room and was checking out Cotton Bowl towards the end of their program. I mean, they were efficient as well, and they had a lot of cars and classes as well. So efficiency is not a bad thing. See, it can be done. It really can be done.
Well, when everybody tries rowing the boat in the same direction, pointing the cars in the same direction, I think it works, because I think not only did the promoters and race directors and everybody want to get the program in, the racers knew. Well, one, they were warned in the drivers' meeting, we're gonna kick it into high gear.
They told
them.
They told them.
They said it was coming. But I think the drivers, did an exceptional job driving. Coming into the show, like I like the fact that they got staged on the backstretch during the intermission. Or not during the intermission, during the interview, or the lack of interviews, victory lane pictures, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they did an incredible job there. So that, I think everybody bought in. I think it's a credit to everybody at how efficient that show ran.
Yeah, it really was like a dirt show. I mean, you had the guy that came out and they sat there, in the Area 51 auto victory lane. They sat there, they did whatever, got out and took the picture, and you had everybody else waiting on the backstretch. And I think that's the Owen Pittman effect on this whole thing. And, the funny thing is, you and I were talking after the races. Owen he didn't think it was that good. And I'm like, dude, are you kidding me? This was tremendous. This was great.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, we got a lot of work to do. I'm like, okay. I guess we need a impending storm each and every time, because it was all really good. I thought it was great.
Yeah, I think that, Owen's always his own worst critic. A lot of times, with his side of the world, kind of the promoting side, and everybody's their own critic when it comes to race directing. But I think all in all, I think the instances on the racetrack, we'll talk to Rick Polero about those. Some of them were racing deals. Mm-hmm. Some of them were self-induced by a couple of people. But I think all in all, I mean, I just thought the show, there wasn't enough controversy to make anything controversial, I don't think.
Yeah.
Now, there's always keyboard warriors that make stuff controversial, but that's a whole nother topic for a whole nother show.
Yeah. And speaking of that, Polero coming up probably around 7:30, 7:35, depending where you're at, that's Central Time. We'll have Rick on here. Good to have him back on the racetrack. 7:20, Blake Clark's going to check in. What a finish he had there in the iStocks at Kennedale. And then coming up here in a matter of minutes, we'll talk to Talon Willis, one of the really cool dudes. That's a young dude out there doing really cool things, and that's a really good thing. Really good thing. A good guest list that we're having. But it's Bobby. I do want to ask you, and here is the question, the Revved Up question of the week that we always talk about on there. Here, so shit, I gotta find it. So. Oh, my goodness. Where is it? Come on, man. I don't know where the hell I put this thing. Oh, my goodness. There it is right there. Topic of the week, because I get this a lot of times, and you get it on pavement and dirt. Topic of the week. How many classes should a short track race track have on a regular race night? I get this a lot, with Texas on the pavement, because it's like, too many classes. Well, we only have one racetrack. Your thoughts on that? Let's talk about dirt, Bobby. Put it in your hands on dirt. How many should they have?
I mean, I think a magic number is 5, maybe 6, depending on where you're at. And I think that you have to have a couple of jumping off points, right? You have to have your entry level classes, your more affordable classes. That's either your Hornets or your Eco Stocks or something along those lines, or even the tracks that don't run the 4 cylinders can run a hobby stock class, or maybe even an E-mod or junior limited, whatever you want. So that's one class that you got to have. Some classes have 2. So you gotta have your more affordable, even entry level. I know Owen hates it when we call some of the hobby stocks entry level, but you got the entry level affordable ones, and you got to have kind of a mid range one,
Mm-hmm.
which would be, I guess, a next step depending on where you're at would be stock cars, or factory stocks, depending on where you're at. So that's 2 to 3. Then you got to have mid-time modifieds. You got to have big mods, whether that be on asphalt or on dirt. So you got those, the pro modifieds, and you've got the limited modifieds that there's enough of those cars on dirt to race around. And then you've got, say, a factory stock, though, in a midi mod class like they have down in Corpus, where there's pretty decent racing, pretty decent car counts.
Yeah.
So I think 5 to 6, the magic number. You just got to have them kind of, they got to stair step and build off each other is where I'm trying to get at it in terms of how they need to be set up to where you can, each class grows another class and another racer.
Right. And I think the big thing is with that is you always have, from the pavement side, for me, is it's always, you have a big crescendo. I mean, you have all of this, 4 or 5, whatever it is, and then you build to the whatever the big class is. Back in the day when you had, the Romco or whatever that was. I mean, they would come in. I think on dirt, it's a big deal when you have, the I stocks and a factory stock and junior limited, whatever it is. And then you have the sprint cars, all of that. I mean, it really is a matter of trying to, like you said, stair step this thing to where it builds to the big class. And already Nathan checking in right there. And that's a guy that I put a lot of stock in what he talks about. He says 5 classes, and that I know this is not going to be a popular, stance, what I'm about to say right here, but I think the biggest thing that we did Saturday in Houston was the meet and greet. Not doing that, boy, boom, we were zooming. And I know that's something that's super important for people, but you ain't got to do that all the time. That takes a lot of time right there.
Well, I think it depends on what the track's known for. The meet and greet's been such a popular thing in Houston, but that's also when they ran 4 classes. They weren't trying to run six classes as they are now. But they also ran heat races and stuff like that back when that was a factor too. So I think that, having it come through and the magic number 5 to 6, I think is the right number. But you're right. Intermission, as much as we like to work with the little kids, sometimes the Power Wheel races get in the way a little bit. Entertaining games. You've learned that at Hot. I noticed they've got some Power Wheel racing and some tire toss in there. I don't know how well that's going to be received up there.
That is a huge event. That is big.
Is it really?
Dude, you get guys out there. I mean, you get dudes probably off a football field from Baylor or something. They come out there and want to throw that tire. Dude, that is crazy.
Really?
Yeah, dude. I could not believe that. And they're like, when they can't throw it the furthest, they get pissed and they're like, I need another turn. Dude, that is a great event.
Maybe we have to watch it on Race on Texas.
That is totally crazy. Totally crazy. Going to the hotline in a minute, but I love what Pretty says, because he says the big thing is when you start getting the classes that look like the same thing, that's when you get in trouble. And Bobby, we've done that on pavement and kind of getting the same thing on dirt. When they all look alike. Yeah. So anyway, all right, let's go to the hotline for the first time tonight. We can pick that up. A little bit later on. That is your Revved Up toe of the week, topic of the week. How many classes should a short track racing program have each and every night on a regular night? But going to the hotline right now, and we're going to talk to a dude, a young man that's doing really cool things. Going to be introed right here. His dad's going to jump on and bring him on. But this guy right here, when you talk about kids doing things the right way, young guys doing it the right way, Talon Willis, super talented youngster around these parts, and his dad Adam is going to jump on here and bring him on. Mr. Willis, how we doing, sir?
Good, and you?
I'm doing well, sir. I'm doing well. Talk a little bit about that young man you got there. That is quite the talented young man that you have raised there.
Thank you. Well, I mean, he's 14. Just didn't really grow up racing. Got him a go-kart whenever he was about 4, and he run it about 3 times or so, and I was trying to race at the time, and we just didn't have time to really go-kart race. So he ran about 3 times, and that was it. And then his racing really got put on the back burner. He didn't start racing till I think he made his first laps. I got him a car, street stock, when he was 12 for his 12th birthday, and we put it together. And I made him come up with half the money for a motor, and we bought a used crate motor, and then we just went to our local track and started making some laps, and it kind of just took off from there.
Adam, how big is that for you? I love what you said right there before Talon jumps on there here. So many young guys these days, they get in a race car and they have no idea what it takes to fund it, what it takes to work on it, any of that. It sounds like that you were grooming your son to do this the right way.
Well, I mean, he definitely knows you got to pay to play, and he don't understand the extent of it, and neither did I. I drove for people for most of my years of racing until kind of we got this car, and I really try to make him see what everything costs and try to make tires last. And
yep.
I mean, we buy used parts and stuff like that, and we have a lot of help as well. But it's really, I mean, it costs so much to race. I don't want him to be just one of them kids that just get everything given to him. I want him to have to work for it.
Yeah, no doubt.
So before we get Talon on, one last question there for Dad. Was it when you have him work on the car and have him learning the right way, right? Do you think that keeps him from tearing it up enough, knowing that he's the one that's going to have to try to work on it and fix it all?
I think it has. I think it plays a part in it because he knows that I don't mind doing anything, and he was so young when he started.
Yeah,
12. He really didn't know how to do a lot of stuff, and I'm also learning as he's learning because I like to do it the way I like to do it, and it's quicker for me to do it. It takes more time to let him do it, but I'm trying to slowly let him take over, and he's made leaps and bounds with doing a lot of stuff himself. And he sees what it takes to fix it, and I think I mean I don't know if it has anything to do with it. I mean that's probably something he'd have to answer, but he's very good on equipment. He hasn't torn up much at all. Only a couple DNFs in his racing career, most of that just part failure. But he sees it takes a lot of work, and I'm hoping that plays a part into it because I mean. It takes a lot of hours. Just if you go win, I mean, you're still looking at 3 days work if you don't tear anything up.
That's right. Yep. All that maintenance part. Yeah, super cool. And Adam, thank you for jumping on right here and bringing him on. If you're ready to put him on, we would love to break some stuff down with him. I mean, what a story right here, though. What this young guy's doing. Yeah. It's super impressive. All right, super good.
Hello.
Hey, Talon, how you doing, buddy?
Good, and you?
Good. Welcome into the Revved Up Sports Show, man. Talk about your progression right there. I mean, just talking about what your dad was discussing right there. It sounds like you guys, this sport is very family oriented. I mean, it's all about dads and, Father's Day weekend coming up and all that. It kind of comes all full circle with this. Just talk about what you guys do and how special it is getting to do this with your family.
Oh yeah, we do. I mean, anytime we go to the racetrack, we got the whole family. Like, we don't miss out. My mom, my sister, and my dad, they never miss out. We do some YouTube stuff. Me and Dad, we video some stuff around the shop. We try to spend a good bit of time with the family, but when we're not doing that, we're just working on the race car pretty much.
Yeah, I love it.
So, Talon, how hard is that to balance a normal teenage life, right? Like, a lot of times when you get around your age, you start thinking about the girls, you start thinking about basketball, baseball, all that good stuff. But you talk about spending time with family, spending time in the shop. Is it hard to adjust to that, or is it more along the lines of, you have to tell your friends, look, I don't have time for basketball. I've got to work on the race car.
I do a little bit of basketball, but I mean, I do have to tell, I guess you could say some of my friends that I got to go work on a race car. I mean, some nights you can't spend the night at a friend's house because you got to go work or something like that. But, I mean, I try to do a little bit of both, but it is very hard to adjust because I mean, most kids they just want to be a kid, but I mean, you got also if you race, you obviously got to work on the race car just about every night, and definitely put some time into it if you want to win.
Yeah, no doubt about that. So obviously, right now, you with the limited modified sport mod, whatever you want to call it. I mean, you're burning that stuff up. Let's talk about the street stock stuff for you. That seems to be the one that you kind of dove in right there, and just talk about that time. Driving those cars.
Yeah, the street stock's really fun. Dad, whenever I first started racing, we kind of talked about it, and he said he thought it would be a really good starter class because everybody around all the racers that I race against, they're really good drivers.
Yeah.
They have a lot of experience, so we really weren't worried about anything like that. So he just told me it'd be a good starter class. But I mean, overall, I've had some like really good times running the street stock. Had some decent wins, and it's definitely this is the only car that I really work on. Everybody on the limited, they do all the work for me. I really just drive. I do the work while I'm at the races, but that's about it.
I love it.
But the street stock is really where I've learned to work on everything pretty much.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So do you have your preference? I mean, do you like the limited better? Do you like the street stock better? Kind of feels like, when you turn the wrenches on your own car, picking up a couple of wins in that street stock probably feel a little bit more special than just winning in the limited modified.
Oh yeah, I definitely like the limited more. You get to race with a lot more people. I think that most of the races that I've been, there's been 30 plus cars, and they're all really good cars around here. So definitely a lot more competition. You learn a lot. You got to really get up on the wheel in order to run with these guys because I mean they're really good.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I would say the limited is definitely my favorite.
So, Talon, I'm glad you mentioned that. Talk about racing with the guys that you race with, and I mean all the different racetracks. Talk about what do you learn from these guys, and you being a young guy. How do the veterans accept you as coming in, and you kind of kick their tail from time to time? It seems like. But talk about that experience racing with those veteran race car drivers that you're racing with.
Oh yeah, it's definitely fun, but I just tried to. Right now, I'm trying to gain a lot of respect. I try to race them as clean as I can, and I know all them guys they race me clean. But main thing is gain respect. But you learn tons because they're all the limited guys. There's some really good heavy hitters in there, and you can learn a lot. You work on the car during the week trying to get faster and everything. So it's definitely a blast.
Yeah, no doubt.
So, Talon, you mentioned earlier having a YouTube show and some of the stuff posted in the shop and with your dad.
Yeah.
Being a younger kid, a younger guy, right, where you get to, you deal more with TikToks and YouTubes and all that stuff than the old guys like Rodney and myself.
No,
you find a way having
Bobby,
to balance
you're older, Robbie. I'm more progressive.
Progressive. I don't have a TikTok. I don't want a TikTok. I'm good with Facebook videos, right?
That's right.
So when you try to do that, do you find
TikTok.
a balance with it, or how do you balance out, to try to put the cool stuff on the YouTube stuff versus just working on the race car?
Yeah, we do. I mean, most of everything we do is on video. I mean,
yeah,
we do have some behind the scenes stuff, but I mean, we try to put everything on video. It's just I don't know. We're just trying to, I guess, get it out there, and it's definitely fun doing it. I mean, you got like Hunt the Front, Chase Holland, and all them. Those are really kind of the reason why we started. We just watched YouTube a good bit and liked it, so we figured might as well try it.
Yeah. And you kind of mentioned something there as we were going back and forth. Talk about that. A young dude like you're not messing around with the phone. You're not doing video games. You are very focused on your job. I mean, talk about that. I've got two daughters, in their early 20s, and they're always on their phone and doing whatever. Dude, I think it is so impressive, Talon, that you are so focused. You're not messing around with any of that, dude. You're like my hero at this point.
Yeah, like you said, I don't have a phone or anything. I don't really deal with any social media. I do iRacing. It's
sure.
I'm sure most people have heard of it, but I mean it's just really a simulation game that's the most realistic game of racing I would say there is.
Yeah, no doubt.
So I go back to the iRacing real quick, Talon. In terms of that, are you one of those cats that gets the good feeling from an iRace? You know, I mean, you can't really feel it twitching in the seat like you can in a real car, but does that help you? You know, kind of hone your craft in a little bit when you're getting to race.
Oh yeah, you like you said, you don't really feel anything, but like you get in the scenarios just like you would on a real track. You go three wide, you throw sliders, you look for the right line. Like if the track gets slick, which they just come out with a tire wear, so like you gotta. It's really just almost like a real race car. You just really can't feel anything, and like I said, you look for the right line. You gotta conserve your race car, not tear it up. I mean, it's pretty realistic, except
Yeah.
you don't have to work on it.
That's the best part. That is always
And
the
a
best
little
part.
cheaper, yeah, a little cheaper too.
Yeah, no doubt. So, talk about so what's your driving style? I mean, all the racetracks that you've won at, you know, whether it be Rocket or Boot Hill or Arklatex, all these different places. What is Talon Willis's favorite track? I mean, we talk about dry slick and you know some guys like Hammer Down, you know whatever it is. Where do you feel the best when you're behind the wheel of one of these things, whether it be the street stock or the limited modified?
I feel the best whenever it's slick. I like kind of a momentum track.
Yep.
I would say my favorite track probably Rocket Raceway.
Mm.
Up in Petty, Texas. It's very fun. It gets really, really black, and you can race from the infield track tires all the way to the outside wall. Like it's really fun.
I love it. I love it.
So, Talon, that's a lot of tracks you race at. Where is your home base at? Like, where are y'all based at to get to go to all those different tracks? Are you 30 minutes away from them, an hour, a couple hours? Where's your home base within all these different racetracks?
My home base is Thunder Valley Speedway. We're only 10 minutes from there.
Nice.
It's our home track.
Yeah. No, that's a great thing. That's a great thing. So, what's the big time plan for you? I mean, you're doing this at a pace that people cannot. Nobody does this the way that you're doing it. I mean, you're so good at what you're doing. Where do you plan to take this? I mean, what's the big time goal right there? I mean, you've got a great support system in place. That's the most important. But for you, as just a young dude kicking everybody's tail, I mean, where you plan to take this, Talon?
I plan to take it as far as it'll let me go. I mean, my dream would be to be racing like Lucas Oil, Late Model Series, World Outlaws, maybe make some laps at Eldora, win some. My dream would be to win the Crown Jewel somewhere, and it'd just be a dream come true, pretty much.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean that's a very attainable goal. It sounds like. Talon, talk about all the folks that make this happen for you. I mean, obviously your dad right there, but our feed is blowing up right here with people talking about how great you guys are. Talk about everyone that makes this happen for you and your race team.
Oh yeah, on the street stock we have Murphy Oil Company, Champion Commercial HVAC, Cypress Big Tex Trailers, ELE Construction, El Fontenot's Trucking, Joel's Auto Sales, Allen Parrish Mosquito Control, Hudson Motorsports, DeSoto Iron and Metal, Big T Motorsports, Bernie Speed and Performance, Harris Woodworking, HD Transports, Lee Racing, Recharge Tire, Making Memories by Jimmy and Amy Grundy, Racing for Tanner. That's on the street stock. And for the limited mod, we have Mr. Robert Metz, Mr. Chad Comer, Miss Brandy, Corey Neal Jr., most of all, I forgot them, but my mom and dad, they take me everywhere. I couldn't do it without them. The R&L Truck Repair, All-in-One Plumbing, C3 Consulting, Curtis and Son Companies, AARE Race Engines, Griffith Trucking, All-in-One Racing Team. Those are all the people that help me out and help everything that I do.
Man, that is awesome.
And
yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Champion Commercial HVAC, they just hit the guy with Mr. Champion Commercial HVAC, Mr. Jason Nisus, he actually just purchased me a crate late model. So
that's
up in the air working.
That's exactly where I was going. We had somebody ask that there on the feed. Talk about that. I mean, crate late model, dude. That's a whole different. I mean, limited modifieds and all that. That is all good. But talk about that beast. That right there has to be pretty exciting. Thinking about jumping in one of those crate late models.
Oh yeah, it's really exciting. Like I said, couldn't thank Mr. Jason Nices with Champion Commercial HVAC enough. Uh, really just couldn't I really couldn't believe it. I mean, I just always wanted to make some laps in a late model. I've made a couple in Mr. Brian Cook's late model, but that's the only ones I make. They're definitely a different driving style. You got to get up on the wheel. They're just some big cars from what I've been seeing, and it's definitely the path that I want to go.
Yeah, no doubt. So is that the one? I mean, if you could, take this thing, to the next level, which I'm sure you're going to do. Sounds like I think in the late model that might be the one. So when's the debut? When are you going to run that thing for the first time?
We really don't know. I know we will be making some laps, like just some practice laps in it pretty soon. I would say within we got some races coming up, but I would say probably within a week or two. Just kind of whenever we can get it done, we'll definitely be there.
Yeah.
To go make some laps.
Oh my goodness. How cool is that? Super good stuff. Mr. Willis, and I'm going to call you Mr. Willis because you're going to do some really cool things. And Bobby and I are super excited that you jumped on here on our program and graced us with this because, dude, you're doing such a great job. Keep at it, man. Embrace that family atmosphere and, let's do it again soon. I mean, open airways anytime you have some time for us.
Oh yeah, I had a blast. Thank y'all for getting me on here. It was very cool.
Absolutely. Take care, my man. Good luck, and we'll talk soon.
Yep, take care.
You bet. There he goes. Holy shit. I think we just talked to Kyle Larson.
Yeah, he's definitely going to go places. That's for sure, right?
Man, that is a talent right there. I got to tell you, one of the coolest things when we asked him there, no phone, not messing around with any of that stuff. He is focused on the job at hand. That's weird. That's weird, but cool.
That's weird for a 14-year-old to not have a phone. That's why I just was figuring he's watching TikToks and watching YouTube and all of that. I mean, he's got his YouTube stuff modeled after Hunt the Front, which is surprisingly very, very popular.
Yeah.
They have quite a few YouTube followers, so it's I can understand why they set it up that way.
Yeah.
But it is interesting. He's definitely seems like he's got his goals in the right spot to take it to the next level.
And it really does seem like with this dude, I mean, whatever you put him into, and I mean, we can talk about guys, you and I both, with Caden Honeycutt is probably the first guy that we can talk about to where it's like anything that he drives, he's going to be exceptionally well. Caden, it goes to my whole reference back to, take a donkey to the Kentucky Derby and do well. Caden does that, but this guy right here, my goodness. I mean, when you want to talk about primed and focused, this is a guy that damn, we just we're gonna have to bookmark this interview because he's gonna be a big deal. He's already a big deal, but man, that was great. That was great.
Yeah, he's gonna be a bigger damn deal is what it's gonna be. That'd be good on the back of his race car. Bigger damn deal. That looked good on the back of a late model.
Well, and the whole thing is, I mean, he's going to continue to win races. You know what? The Revved Up curse. Every time you come on this show, you're going to go out and win races. He's going to continue to win races. And, street stocks and limited modifieds. And now with a crate late model, man, the path right there is looking really good for this dude.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun to keep up with him and watch him. So.
Man, that was a lot of fun. Before we step in and coming up here in just a little bit, Blake Clark and then Rick Pilero. That's going to be the rest of our guest list on the program. Bobby, I do want to ask you. It does seem like along the this whole region, we're still dealing with rainouts and all this, man. And my heart breaks for all these racetracks because they. Oh man, it's like every Saturday or Friday, you go in here and you jump in, and it's like, this one's rained out. This one's rained out. And it's like, damn it. It's getting hard for these guys.
It's getting hard, but the tracks, when they do race, it seems like but
the drought's coming. The drought is coming.
It's coming. We'll be begging for rain come August. But I think that the tracks, when they do get to race, what is that? Separation makes the heart grow fonder or whatever the case may be. Like we saw at Kennedale, that was a massive, humongous crowd at Kennedale for a weekly show.
Yeah.
They packed that place, and there were a couple of, they've been lucky with making a races when a couple other tracks got rained out. But our buddy KR, then Kevin Sester up there at Rocket and Arclitex, both those tracks have just been snake bit when it comes to rain. Especially over there at Arclitex. Every big show they've had been rained out, it feels like.
Yeah, it really does. I mean, it's like every time you turn around, it's like it just happens, in piles, of the rainouts right there. But so what'd you think of that? Speaking of, I want to go back to RPM, that sprint car flip. You see Zimmerman, man, if you're going to do it, you do it right.
That's right.
I've always said, if you're going to crash, you crash the right way, and he did. Man, what a flip right there. And this is where we go back to, with even back to the pavement racing with Clayton Green this weekend at Houston. I mean, these cars are built well. And, man, see those guys walk away from that's a good thing.
Yeah, it really was. I mean, that was a hard lick. I mean, if you're going to wreck spectacularly, jokingly saying that, but you always want to be walking away from the highlight reel.
Yeah,
that's for sure. So that was a hard lick that Clayton Green took there in Houston, and a pretty hard lick there in that sprint car. But it became one of those. We've seen some pretty spectacular wrecks here in the last little bit of time. Mainly with these sprint cars. These sprint cars are getting up in the fence, but luckily the fences have been surviving.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, definitely some tough, rough hits, and we've seen some stuff there at 105, a couple of barrel rolls there. So it just proves that the sport is challenging in certain aspects of it, but it's also still as much fun as we have and as much fun as we enjoy watching it. It's still pretty damn dangerous.
Yeah, it's dangerous. Way dangerous. One of those things. Great conversation right there. Talon Willis, man. Brent, oh, man. Not new, but that's bad.
New to many after tonight. New to some before tonight, but not after tonight.
That's right. You guys stick around. Coming up, Blake Clark. You mentioned there, Kennedale. He had a damn good finish over there. One spot short, but we'll talk to him about that. Rick Palero coming up a little bit later. Hashtag Real Race Talk from Texas. It is the Revved Up Sports Show. You guys stick around.
For the past year, you've heard us talking about our partners over at Generation Race Cars. I'm proud to say they're back again this year, and they're off to a great start. Generation Race Cars, located in Springtown, Texas, continues to offer new chassis body combos all the way to turnkey sport mods and limited modifieds. All cars are built the same as you've seen in Victory Lane with drivers like Alex Hickam, Jeff Shepard, and Dean Abbey. All customers are valued and treated equally, so why not join the winning team? Justin Long is committed to giving each and every customer the time they deserve, along with a commitment to bring quality into every build. If you're ready to join the team, give the guys over at Generation Race Cars a call today at 817-528-2947. You put a lot into your racing program, so why not take it to Victory Lane with Team GRC?
You guys, Rodney Rodriguez from my friends at Rogers Dab Chevrolet in Brandon, Mississippi. A lot of folks looking for those GM crate engines, whether it be the 602, the 604, much sought after, whether it be on dirt or pavement. Lots of different places that you can run those crate motors. My friends here at Rogers Dab Chevrolet GM Performance Parts, they're going to give you the best part or the best price that you're going to find in the country. Check out my man Ryan Polk, 601-824-5457, or hit up rpolk at rogersdabs.com. Get in touch with him. Let him tell you how he's going to get those engines to you. I mean, take a look right there. I mean, they're in stock. They are on the shelf and ready to get to you. Sealed crate GM engines. You can scan that QR code, and I promise you, you are not going to beat that price. Best price in the country. Rogers Dab Chevrolet GM Performance Parts in Brandon, Mississippi. Check them out and tell me you heard about them right here on the Revved Up Sports Show.
All right, back here live on a Monday edition of the Revved Up Sports Show. Good conversation with future phenom Talon Willis.
Yeah.
Boy, he's the next one that's going to set the world on fire. You heard it here first. So if you hadn't seen him on the racetrack, you heard him here, and now you know about him. So
yeah, man.
Good conversation with Talon and his dad. So lots of stuff there. Good kid, good young man. Looks like he's definitely made the right steps with the right strides to get to this point. So we see nothing but good success from that point on. So
they're teaching him they're teaching him the right way, dude. And I think that's where, when we talk about, with some of the, and again, I'm not the expert on raising children because I have made plenty of mistakes, but with these young guys that get out there and race cars, guys like him and a lot of the guys that we see doing really good things, they have a great support system and they've been raised the right way and they have respect. That seems to be the problem with a lot of some of these young guys, and that
be
kid,
a little bit of an issue. Yeah,
right, and that kid seems to understand respect. I mean, talking about the guys that he races with, I mean that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool to see.
Especially to rack up as much wins as he's getting. He's beating the established veterans, and sometimes that cannot be received too well. We've seen over the years, but definitely got a chance to make things work and rock along. So
that's right. Back to the Revved Up Sports Show topic of the week. Rusto, as we like to say. How many classes should start on a regular race program at a short track? And that's asphalt and pavement. We have had this conversation so many different times because here in Texas, we see it. It's always been a thing for us on asphalt to where we have to cram 9 or 10 classes in, because we don't have the race dates and don't have any of that. But on dirt tracks, we see it as well. Love your thoughts. I mean, we've had great conversation on that already as to 5 or 6. It seems like to me, Bobby, 5 or 6 is one that seems to be the
sweet spot
denominator right there as folks, and I totally agree with that because you have your regular 4 classes of regular stuff and then pop in a special show,
maybe you have 5 regular classes and 1 special event is about the way you get to 6 classes on the average, really if you think about it. So 5 standard classes and then 1 touring event, then you get your stuff.
Yeah. But, the tricky part is it always comes down to, there's a lot of series and whatever that want as many race dates as possible. And I think this is where we go back to car count to where it's like, okay, if you are pulling in 4 cars a week, you don't need to be, racing
touring
all the time. I mean, it's one of those things. I mean, Magic Mike Knott's checking in right there with him with the legacies, and that's a great class to talk about right there because that class is one that at one point had 5 cars, 6 cars, whatever, but now they always show up and they have one of the highest car counts of them all. And I will say for them, in Houston, and it's not a Houston thing. It's just kind of one of those things. They are probably on the lower part of the pay scale where they should be higher up,
be a little higher up for sure
with the car count. But that's where they have built that thing. Them in and of themselves, they built that class and brought it back because that class was dead. I mean, that thing was gone. I mean, long gone. But that guys like Mike and Jason Simmental, who has stepped away from that part, that they brought it back, and that's what needs to happen.
Well, I think it takes a dedicated group of guys, right? Anytime you get like a touring series that get adopted, they had a lot of success there at Mobile, getting more and more car counts and more interest up in the series and those type of cars. So it takes an army, right? It takes an army to make the races go around, makes an army to take the races, from a series into a class. I mean, there's only so many classes we can run on a given night, and there's only so many races that are out there. So that makes it work to a certain extent too.
Yeah. And it's always a hard part to that discussion is to where you have to go to the, 5 guys, whether it be, 5 cars that show up every week. You have to go to those 5 guys and say, sorry, you can't, we can't put you on the card anymore. And that's to where you have to figure out, as a race organization or organizer, whatever, it's like, how do you do this? I mean, where do you put him? Because folks, they want to see a lot of action. And I don't know, man. It's always tough. I mean, I think that's a great question. I mean, I know here in Texas where we always got into problems on the asphalt side, and it doesn't happen on the dirt side, is to where you remember, Bobby, back on the pavement side, it was like, okay, they all look alike, and each one of them have 4 cars. So what do you do? I mean, somebody has to suffer, and we've always done in the past. Okay, let's just run them all. I do like the pro late model, the outlaw. I like all of that. I mean, 8-car field. I'm good with that.
Well, that's combining basically 3 classes together to get to 8 cars.
Exactly.
But the fans took a reaction to it. They liked a couple of late model bodied cars because that looks like what they see on TV.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then the Outlaws are something different with their speed and the way that they sound and stuff like that. So I noticed it was funny when on Saturday when the Eco stocks were coming around and Clayton Green was bringing out his pro mod.
Yeah,
it was so funny because I was walking up the stairs after just talking to you down in front by the flag stand, and the energy changed when that big old heavy V8 just fired up and was growling down the back straightaway next to the 4 and 6 cylinders from the Eco class, and the crowd responds to those big motored cars, and that's because they're loud. They're obnoxiously loud. Some of them are. So that's kind of cool to see the crowd change in reaction to that.
Yeah, no doubt. And speaking of something that it does not have a car count problem, a little bit later in the week, planning to do some stuff with my man Colin Bell and Justin Whitehead. You got the Mike Parker Memorial coming up, and we've had Whitehead on here before, Bobby. This dude, this should be a national event. What's about to happen at Architects, weather permitting. I think, dude, that weekend there, what's coming up on Father's Day weekend over there, that is a national event in our region. That is going to be massive.
If it wasn't Father's Day weekend, this would be the weekend to go to Architects, wouldn't it?
Oh, well, yeah.
Man, I should have planned a little better.
Well, no, that's all good. But I mean, that's a lot of money on the line right there. All these factory stocks that are going to be there. Dude, that's going to be huge. I cannot wait to watch that.
It's going to be exciting. I mean, the Mike Parker Memorial is always good. But when you throw in, like when we talked to Justin when he was on a couple of weeks ago, he's got that fine line where he understands what a racer needs,
Mm-hmm.
and he understands what the track needs as the promoter of these big races. So definitely, it's good to see somebody that thinks on both sides of the steering wheel. So
Yeah.
that's a good plus for that event.
Yep, no doubt. Going to be a good one. We'll talk about that, throughout the week right here on Revved Up. All right, to the hotline the second time tonight. We were talking about great finishes and so forth and so on. Kennedale Speedway. This dude right here was in the middle of one of the damn good ones. To the hotline we go. Blake Clark checking in right there. IMCA Stock Cars. Blake, how we doing, brother?
Oh, we're doing good.
Man, Blake, take me through that race, dude. That right there, that was highlight material. I know Race on Texas is promoting the hell out of that thing. Take us through your view of that final part of the race.
Hello?
Yep.
Okay. Sorry, I thought I lost y'all, but it was a pretty good race. It was very hard racing against UK. A lot of the fans, all the fans loved it.
Yeah. Oh, hell, we lost him.
Now we lost him.
Yeah, all right there. We'll
Hashtag live radio. For those that think this is recorded and edited, it is not. This is indeed a live radio show until you listen to it on your favorite podcast provider. If you want to know where we are, just search Revved Up Sports Show and you'll find us everywhere you get your popular podcast.
And just like that. So, Blake, you were saying, how was that for you, my man?
Oh, it was a crazy one, started 8th and just was trucking my way through there. The track started rubbering up, and it was a scary one. Let's just say that.
Yeah, I bet.
But all the fans loved it. At the end, it's kind of hard to stay around on the tires and choo-choo train, but it was fun. It was fun.
No doubt.
So, Blake, we've talked to James Lopez, the promoter up there at Kennedale, and it seems like you guys we call it an ecosystem that you guys have, because when you win any class at Kennedale, it's pretty cool. Now, granted, we're talking about the finish, which you were on the wrong side of, But talk about just the competition up there at Kennedale. They, like I said, it's got its own unique animals up there. But when you win and compete well in top five, finish in the top two, top three, you've had a pretty successful night against some pretty stiff competition up there in all the classes.
Oh yeah, for sure. You know, you have me and Chubb Williams. I mean, he's first in the nation, and I'm second in the nation. And I mean, there's a lot of good people at KSB. Matt Gilliam. I mean, the list can keep going. And yeah, it's as soon as they pull in the gate, you know, you're either going to go for a win or you're going to you don't know. You never know who's going to win at KSB. It's always a different winner, and it's always fun there.
Yeah, no doubt. And Blake, talk about that. I mean, to me, you know, with my man Joe Spillman, I mean, I have fallen in love with these stock cars. And like you said right there, I mean, you can take these cars everywhere. You know, Kennedale is one of those places, you know, Heart of Texas, whatever. Talk about these cars. This right here, it's the baddest asses that we're going to have on dirt track. And you guys never fail to deliver in a feature race.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, the stock cars, I've been running it for 2 or 3 years, I think, and I love it. You know, I started out in the factory stock. I love the factory stock too. The factory stock was a good one, and honestly, the factory stock and the stock car, they're kind of the same except tires, you know, and a little bit of suspension and stuff. And the stock car, I love it. I sold my factory and went full-time stock car 2 years ago, and I got a brand new Harris chassis Terminator, and I mean, and when I got that and I focused on the stock car, it's a blast, you know. There's a lot of hard racing everywhere, you know. My last year I finally went to one of my biggest races is Boone. Going there and seeing 100-something stock cars at one track, it was awesome, and you learn a lot about everything, and it was, I don't know, I love my stock car. You can race door to door. You can put a little, just a little bump in and here and there and scratch it on each other, but you ain't gonna wheel hop each other, you know. You can be and bang in those things and have a good race, go 3 wide and everything.
Yeah, no doubt.
So Blake, talk about the IMCA sanction. You talk about being, you know, up in the nation points, right, in the national standings. Some people dislike the IMCA stuff because you got to buy the stamped IMCA parts, and sometimes those cost more than the stuff that's not stamped for the same thing. But from the competitor side of it, is it cool? It just seems like it's pretty damn cool to just, as long as you see an IMCA banner at a racetrack, you can run pretty much all over the country and take your car and kind of kick ass everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly love it. You know, there's so many people hate on IMCA, but I mean, I haven't had any problems with them, and it's always been good racing with them. But I think only the main thing that sucks about IMCA is points, like starting positions and everything. If you have a high point average at a track, you're gonna have to start in the rear, just stuff like that. And if you have a low point average, you're gonna start up front. But I like it. I mean, I haven't really done anything else except factory stock, and I like the factory stock because you had draw redraw every night. It was really good.
Yeah. And Blake, isn't the cool part, I think for me with the stock cars, I mean, you got some of the baddest ass guys that race those cars. Every time that you go to a racetrack where there's going to be stock cars, you are racing some of the best. I mean, whether it's here in Texas, Louisiana, I mean, wherever you go, you get on the racetrack and you are racing the best of the best guys that dial these things in. I mean, yourself included. It's got to be, you're racing with the cream of the crop each and every dadgum race you go out on.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy, you know, going out there and just seeing all those fast people. You're like, and you're like really scared, but it's just like, damn, hopefully we can pull this off, you know. But it's pretty crazy going around, and it's just, I don't know, it's a tough one. Stock cars are a very tough class, you know, with everyone that's in it.
No doubt.
So, Blake, do you think the stock cars are somewhat underrated because they're so close looking to a factory stock and even somewhat an outlaw street stock? I mean, where people get in there and, your casual fan that may show up to the KSP for the first time shows up and be like, these three cars look the same and these classes look the same. So, do you think that sometimes because of the fact that they're not identifiable differently between a couple of the classes, that they somewhat get underrated till you see them on the racetrack?
I mean, yes, no. The factory stocks, they put on a good show. Stock cars put on a good show, but I love both I love both classes, honestly. I mean, I never really had problems with them both, but I mean, I don't know. I love my stock car. I feel like I can put it everywhere on the track, wherever, and I don't know. There's just a different. The only thing is there's a difference between suspension and the factory stock is just very stock.
Yep.
I mean, the factory stock. It's really hard to do some things on the factory stock because you can't get too crazy on it, But the stock car, you can get pretty crazy on it.
And that is the one thing, Blake, that I do want to mention there to Bobby's question is I see more in the stock cars. You guys, coming out of turn 2 or turn 4, you guys are three-wheeling, where with the factory stocks, you're not. And I think that kind of that kind of explains that right there.
Yeah, I mean, it is pretty crazy. I've seen a couple. I've only seen a couple factory stock 3-1. That the only time is when it's just, I mean, either rubbered up or something like that. But I mean, stock car, dude, you can be on a hammer down track, and and if you got a lot of driving the car, or you set up, say if you miss a setup and you set up for like a dry slick track and it's hammered down, you're going to be 3-1.
Right. Yeah. That's the main difference right there. That's what I always tell people. It's like they're like, well, they look alike. I'm like, the stock car, you're going to see somebody coming out three-wheeling. So yeah, super good stuff. So for you, rest of the year, what all you doing, man? Like Bobby was talking about, lots of places to do this. What's the plan for you the rest of 2023?
Oh, well, I think that my next biggest race will be probably it's at Heart of Texas, the Baby Blue Memorial.
That's right.
I think it's 5,000 to win. We'll be there, and I think we're going to try to hit Boone at the Super Nationals this year again. There's so many good shows that if they're all close, we're going to hit them. We're going to be there, and we're going to be there to win. Yeah. But and honestly, we're just going for wins at this point. We're just keeping our heads straight and going for as many wins as we can. We're trying not to get into points very much, but we're sitting pretty good right now. So
how cool for you? I mean, when you go to a big show, and again, that Baby Blue Heart Crow, that's June 30th and July 1st there at Heart of Texas Speedway. When you roll into one of those and you go into one of those and you know that you're going to be, one of the guys to beat. How cool is that? I mean, rolling up in there and you see all the big hitters that are there, but hell, you come in and it's like, here comes 88. Here's Blake Clark. That's going to be a guy to beat. That's got to be pretty kick-ass too.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I've never, Heart of Texas, I've never had really good luck. The only time I had good luck was a couple of weekends ago, but I've been to Waco millions of times, and I swear I have bad luck. I've actually flipped there I flipped there, and I've gotten really close to flipping every single time I've gone there. But I mean, I love the track. It's just it has a lot of banking to it, and I mean, I don't know. I just had bad luck there, but I mean, hopefully we'll have good luck there the next time we go there.
Yeah. I'm sure you're gonna do well, my man. You're gonna do well. Great job this weekend, and I mean, I know it sucks, coming out not winning that race at Kennedale, but what a hell of a finish. Highlight videos, and thank you for jumping on here with us. I always like the conversation, my man, and we'll catch you next time, man.
All right, sounds good.
All right, buddy. Take care.
All right, bye.
You bet. There he goes. Good dude. Seriously, stock cars. best.
I guess the stock car where it's at.
Joe Spillman's class. And that's the one thing, as my whole learning of dirt track racing has been a lot through Joe Spillman. And it's like, man, you got to learn these stock cars. He's like, stock cars are the best. They rotate the best. You're going to dive into the corner. It's going to rotate. It's going to drive off. It doesn't do what the factory stock cannot do that. And that's kind of one of those things to where when they come out, I'm like, oh man, this is going to be badass. And, that dude right there, I've seen him in person a couple of different times there at Waco, and the luck has not been on his side, but dude, he is good. He is damn good. And there's a lot of good dudes behind the wheel of those cars.
Well, I mean, anytime you win it, at KSP or running in the top 5, that says something about the program, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Blake Clark, great conversation right there. I see some comments right there. You got the twin 20s coming up at Rocket, and that is a good thing. I mean, that is a good thing with those stock cars. It's all the time. There's always a big race. I know with the factories, there are big points, money events coming up, but with the stock cars, it's like every week. You can find something that it may not be the money that you're going to find in the factory stocks, but damn it, that's national points right there.
The money's there the money's there when the points show up there at the end of the year with the point fund. That a lot of those other races don't have the big factory stock races just have big purses, but they don't really have a lot of point fund with them. So that's where the differences they are. Hey, when you get a moment, hit your breaking news sounder. I got some breaking news that just came across my phone.
Oh, my goodness. Hold on one second. I'll find it. Where is that? Here we go. Revved Up breaking news. Boom.
Ready? Pat Sajak is retiring from Wheel of Fortune after 41 years, so there's hope for you and I to be a game show host now.
No, his daughter's going to take over.
Think so?
Oh, my goodness. Have you seen her?
No, I don't remember seeing her.
Maggie. Yeah.
I guess I have to research that a little bit more. But yes, Pat Sajak's retiring after 41 years.
There is no hope for either one of us, my man.
Damn.
Yeah. She's a lot cuter and more talented than either one of us.
I guess there is no hope for us then.
But that is, I wonder what happens to Vanna.
Let's see if it says that let's see.
Well, I can tell you one thing. The Price is Right has not been the same, in my opinion, when I check in since Bob Barker left. No offense to what's his name?
Drew Carey.
Drew Carey.
Drew Carey.
Yeah, it's not the same. It is.
Damn,
not
Sajak is 76 years old. He doesn't look a day over 50.
Yeah, well,
plastic surgery does that, but
Yep, that's right. But to me, I watch The Price is Right, and it's like, come on, man. It's like a circus. Now, I hope they don't change Wheel of Fortune. My wife is going to be heartbroken. She loves that show. But he had a health scare a while back, I think.
He did,
during COVID.
That's when his daughter kind of filled in for him too, didn't she?
Maggie. Yeah. And then Vanna filled in, and Maggie took the letter thing. Now they just touch them. It's like, okay, here we go. P.
Back in the day, they had to spin it. Yeah.
It's like P. They just touch it. Back in the old days, it was like, whoosh. Yeah. So, man, that's a big deal. That is a big deal.
breaking news, live during our show. So, it's not necessarily racing breaking news, but pop culture news. We cover it all right here. Real race talk.
Yeah. You only hear that here. I love this show.
I know. We have so much fun doing this.
It's
People don't think we take it seriously sometimes, but we really do. Promise.
Yeah, it's a good time. Rick Polero is coming up here in just a couple of minutes, but good conversation that we've had tonight with our guests so far. And I tell you, this is where we go back to. I think we got him. Let's go to the hotline for the final time tonight. Checking in here on the Revved Up Sports Show. One of our benchmark members of this show, and he's actually been on my other show as well. But I'm just glad to see this guy back behind the wheel, out there having fun. My man, Rick Polero. Rick, how we doing, sir?
Oh, pretty good. Thank you, Rodney.
Absolutely, Rick. So, how fun for you? I know there for a bit you'd kind of stepped away, from not so much behind the wheel. How fun is it to be just a wheelman again?
Well, it has been fun with the success we've enjoyed. I've gotten into a couple little incidents there, but it has been fun. We've had some fast trucks, so that makes it nice and pleasurable, and I've been enjoying it.
Yeah, no doubt.
Been enjoying it a great deal.
Love it.
So, Rick, it's been impressive to watch you come back. Looks like you hadn't missed a step. In terms of, before we get into the actual race, with the ending there, we were talking about how fast that show was running in Houston on Saturday to beat the rain. From the competitor's standpoint, other than they tell you that it's coming and you're going to go faster, did you have to change much of the overall night scope to get the race in that fast, or did you feel rushed at all? Or tell me about that atmosphere down in the pits.
Not at all. Felt great. Of course, we really didn't know what we were going to get into until we were there doing it, but out on the track doing it felt great to line right up and go right back to racing. And I liked the way the racers responded. I mean, we were up for it and did it, and they got it in. I mean, we just got it in too. So
yeah,
great job, guys. And I've been to Owen's tracks, that he does on dirt and stuff, and he's got his stuff together. He runs a good program, and he gets good people behind him, and everybody involved just did a really good job. It went really smooth.
Yeah. So, Rick, your thoughts on that? I mean, it really does seem like, Owen Pittman, you put him in charge of something, and it's going to be, it's going to work out, or he's going to give it everything that he has. It really does seem like, and I know it's been a long time, back and forth with us on pavement in Texas. I do think that we're on the right path. I mean, it really does seem like that the course is chartered to where this can grow into something that could sustain itself for a little bit.
Yeah, my hats off to Owen Pittman. I don't know him a great deal. I feel like I know him pretty well now. In the short period of time that I've experienced his dirt programs, going and visiting, watching Jared mopping, run cars and stuff, and being at the track and seeing his programs, at Edna, great job. And then he takes on Texas Race Ranch, in Corpus, and just follows through. Great job there. Kind of looks like man's found his calling. I tell you what, we're blessed. He's decided to do this and has taken on as much as he has, and it hadn't slowed him down a bit. He just moved right on into pavement and running a great program already. I mean, it's showing too. The cars are showing up at the racetrack already. He said he would get them to come, and he's gotten them to come, and the fans are getting in the stands. It's been great.
No doubt.
So in terms of a racer buying into a program, Rick, is it make it considerably easier to buy into something when you see hopes and dreams only take us so far in racing, but when you actually see a weekly or racing increase where you see more cars popping up, you see more fans popping up, it makes it a whole lot easier to really want to invest your time and your money into the racing program, right?
Absolutely. As racers, we want to see what's being sold, actually putting the fans in the stands and having success, and more cars showing up, and the excitement and the word spreads. I think word of mouth is still the best advertisement. I think for the fans, it gets around by word of mouth. It would be nice, if a newscaster or sportscasters like in the old days would pick us up and say something, on the TV about us and stuff. I think that really packs the stands. That's what happened in San Antonio. They had to turn them around in droves. Had no idea they'd be lined up all the way down the road to try to get in to see a race after they talked about us on the news. But it's exciting. It's exciting to see the fans come out, and I love the intermission. I love to see the kids come around the race cars. I let them get in behind the steering wheel, take pictures and all that stuff. But, to make the decision not do that this last time and get the show in, man, that was the right call. Really, really good job to see ahead like that and get it done.
Yeah. So Rick, there was a point in that race when I was calling that race on Race on Texas, and for the folks right there, you were leading. Grant Thompson, Villarreal right there, and Jake. The showstopper was there. And that was a moment right there where I kind of took myself back and I said, okay, this is what we've been looking for right here in Houston. We've got four of the best racers in the country in trucks, for crying out loud. We've got them right here all together. Speak to that. I think that's definitely a step in the right direction to where you've got the really good guys showing up and wanting to be a part of this here.
Yeah. It was nice to see the fast trucks show up, and I mean, Grant Thompson, God bless him and his dad and their crew, to come all the way, from Mobile and come out and putting a little bit of the extra money in the purse. I don't know if that did it, or if it was just time they got their stuff ready and had the time to come out. But God bless them for making the long travel out here, long haul, and that's what I want. I want to race up against the good trucks. I want them showing up at the racetrack and all of us racing together and being excited, to have more trucks there and the competition. That's, back in HMP days, back long ago when I was able to win a championship or two over there, we had 26 trucks showing up. It was great, So and I think we got that vibe back, I think you'll start seeing even more and more people put stuff together to bring to the racetrack.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Rick, that's going to be my next question. It feels like it's so hard to live up to the early 2010s at H&P when the fans were stacked and the stands were full and the pits were full and there was racing and controversy and everybody going out there having a hell of a good time. And it's like you said, you could feel, I don't want to say it flipped a switch on Saturday, but that, like you said, that feeling of like it was that little it factor, if you will, that we had, that spark that we had back in 2010 felt like it was actually turning on. I don't know if it's because we just had moving the action along because we were trying to beat the rain, but it felt like that little bitty spark that can start the wildfire again to make it like it was in the early 2010s back there when the Palace of Power was just rocking and rolling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can look at the bootleggers and the last race there. They didn't hardly know we had a bootlegger class, and it's a new class they're trying to get started, and they know that there's old Camaros out there just waiting to get on the track again, and some cars that can get out there, and there were two there, and y'all ran them at the end of the night, and those guys went door handle to door handle, those two cars, and they put on a show, at the end of the night, and you told us racers, hey, bring them.
Mm-hmm.
I had one. My crew guy, he says, you know what? We're going to take this street stock motor out, and we're going to find us a motor, put it in there, and they did it all on their own. They said we're bringing the Camaro, so I was like, okay, guys, whatever you want to do, and there you go. There's 5-6 cars out there. So what's going to happen next time? Hopefully the excitement is there and we get them, and before you know it, maybe it's one of the bigger classes out there. I think that's a great class for out there.
Yeah. And Rick, I do want to ask you, and yes, I mean, that right there, especially on a night like that, I mean, great fan count and every class seemed to grow that night. But I do want to ask you about the race. I mean, you guys, you were in command of that, you and Grant kind of checking out from the field right there, doing what you do. There were some comers and goers. And I think that you handled, I saw your post that you put on Facebook. You handled it so much. You were such a classy dude. One of the things that I've always respected about you. And I was talking about this on the broadcast. It's like you guys come up to guys that are further back in the pack. They're racing for their position. And it doesn't matter if they're racing for $10,000 or $50. They're racing side by side. You guys come up on them. Everything that happened right there, speak to that. I mean, I've been in your spot being a leader, and I've been in their spot being the guy that's about to get his ass lapped. Talk about that. You handle that so well, Rick. You and Grant both.
Well, I had a little time to cool down and stuff, before I made the post.
Of course.
But I did. I was okay even that night. One of their crew members, I was in the trailer, and I hear a knock on the trailer door, and I was like, man, nobody just knocks and never comes in. So I went and opened the door, and there's a crew member there, and introduced himself, and he said, man, the driver really liked to come by, and he tried finding your spot, and he just wound up coming back to our camp. He couldn't find your spot, so I told him I'd take care of it. And, he wanted to apologize, and he said the driver was definitely going to get with you. And I said, I really appreciate it. I said, but they're running for position side by side. That's their position. That's their dance. That's their highlight reel, for the week. And I don't know how many people they had passed. Maybe it was the only guy he got to race all night. You don't know. And it's amazing. I guess now that I've raced a little bit for a little while, not near as much as a lot of people, but I do have a little bit of experience getting around there and feel pretty comfortable. It's amazing how much you can think about while you're actually driving. Mm-hmm. And I got to see this coming for quite a ways. I was like, okay, here we go. What am I going to do? Am I going to just let them work it out and get up there, and I know I'm giving up ground to Grant behind me? All this is going through my head.
Yep.
I was very calm, and I'm thinking it through. I'm like, I know Grant's going to be coming. He, if I slow down and just let him work this out, he's going to be on top of me. But I felt like I had a good enough truck, and felt really good. I was really comfortable, and I was like, I'm not going to go up there and force the issue and get into an incident, and in my early days, that's probably what I would have done. I just run right up on their bumper, and you either get out of my way or something's going to run up,
Yeah.
I'm going to kind of force the issue, a little bit.
Yeah.
But I was trying to let them work it out. And also, when you're there racing as a fan, a lot of times my wife is up there. He's like, why didn't you just pass them? Go up there and,
Gina.
pass them. Or,
come on, Gina.
And I was like, well, I'm a little busy in there sometimes, honey. Sometimes it's elbows knocking off the roof,
That's right.
trying to just hold it straight down the straightaway, And you can watch these guys going at it, and on video, they look like they're going straight down the straightaway.
Yeah.
But when you're in that driver's seat and you're behind them and you come up off the corner, and if you're looking at their sidewall and their lug nuts coming off the corner, that guy's got his hands full. That left front tire, you're looking at their lug nuts and the sidewall of that tire. He's got it turned all the way to the left, and he's trying to save it off the corner all the way. And that's kind of the way the 59 truck was lap after lap,
Yeah.
Finally, I decided, well, he's doing it every lap, so he's got some type of control over it. I'm going to go ahead and close in and at least be there so I can get under him, take it 3 wide off the straightaway. I've been known to do that many times. That's actually what won the first race there for me. So I started to get closer, and sure enough, as soon as I did, that's when all heck broke loose. So I feel bad for Grant. I just felt bad for all of us. I made the wrong choice there. I should have just barreled through there, held my racing line, and I had a lot of front brake in the truck because I was pretty free all night. And as soon as I tapped the brake to slow down and try to do the smart thing, and I figured he was going to roll back down and he was going to collect me or clip me when I come rolling under him. So I was trying to slow down. And as soon as I hit the brake, man, they just locked up and truck took off front. And if he did break a brake line, he said he broke a brake line. It could have been fluid on the track. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's all behind us now. I know I would have done something different next time. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. No doubt about that.
Rick, isn't it cool though when you think about it, the fact that you're able to show the maturity in the racing aspect of it. I mean, obviously, a gentleman of your stature and learned a lot in the real world and the business world with experience. But in terms of experience behind that wheel, you kind of touched on it a little bit. Isn't it great? I mean, for me, looking back on it, seeing some of the way that you've matured in the race car, like you said, it's not the wild child zippy hippie anymore. This is Mr. Polero racing this truck. It's cool for me to see how the years have been kind to you and how you're able to take a step back and analyze this entire wreck. I'm not sure if we'd asked you 4 or 5 years ago to analyze the wreck that happened. I don't know if you'd have done such a great job doing it like you did tonight.
Well, for the people that haven't seen me and are just listening in, I got a lot of gray hair, folks. maybe that's wisdom. My grandfather was wise, and he had a lot of gray hair, and my dad got wiser. It seemed like he got a lot of gray hair, so I got a lot of gray hair, and I really, really am just trying to have some fun out there. Not looking at championships. I don't have that on the brain. I take one race at a time, and I just want to have fun. And fun for me is winning. That's the most fun I have is getting in victory lane. Getting that microphone put in front of my face. I feel like I've accomplished something.
Yep.
And it's a lot of fun. The most fun for me, but my aspirations are not for championships anymore like I was, and I've got my mind wrapped around one race at a time, just have some fun and putting the truck in the trailer with a clean race, so that's kind of what my focus was. I just got my mind wrapped around that. I want to keep smiling and even if I can help a racer, out with some experience, that I've had and settle them down or, back in the day, I used to get asked all the time, what can I do? What can I do better and stuff like that. And, I'd always be real nice, and I didn't want to be mean. I might have come off kind of rough, but it's kind of simple. I would tell them, save your money on tires 1 week.
Yeah.
Don't spend any money on tires for 1 week, and get with somebody that has set up a vehicle correctly, and you will have the most comfortable ride.
Yeah.
And you are actually giving yourself an honest shot at doing well in a race. Because a lot of this wrecking and stuff like that is these guys are bringing their own stuff out and they're working on it themselves. But if they had one good baseline setup underneath them, you as a driver will give yourself a fair chance to do well on the racetrack. And the first time you wreck your stuff, you've spent more money than you would have ever spent on that setup.
That's right.
And that's the best advice I could give to any of the crews, no matter how many years you've been coming out and doing it. One time, get somebody good to set your truck up.
Yeah.
And you will be so happy and so comfortable.
Yeah.
It's worth every penny.
Yeah. Yeah. That's great advice. I mean, that really is the key right there. So Rick, I mean, lastly, I mean, for you, I mean, jumping back into this, is this going to be a thing to where when we start getting into postseason, I mean, are you thinking about maybe doing some snowball, maybe a little bit of traveling, or are you going to keep it, just kind of keep it? I know having fun is one thing that we say, but it always seems like the better that we do, we want to have more fun. How are you going to contain this? How are you going to contain this at this point?
So true, so true. I am having fun, and it was great running with as fast as trucks that were there, and we had a good truck.
Yeah.
And I know it wasn't the best because I was driving it, and it could be a little better. But to have that distance on them and maintain the speed and the gap. Now, maybe Grant had something for me, but I don't think he was sandbagging.
Nope.
You know, I know Grant. I like Grant. He's a competitor, fierce competitor. And he says, "Give me a caution. Let's see what would happen."
Right.
That's all true. That's all true.
Yep.
But I did feel very comfortable where I was at, and it surprised me a little bit, looking back at it now. So I kind of had the attitude leaving there, you know, I might go bounty hunting.
Oh.
I've got a little outlaw that gets around pretty good.
Nice.
And so I'll just put that out there, you know.
Oh man.
Might do some bounty hunting on old Robert Barker there, my buddy.
There you go.
And before it's all over with. And we're already talking about going to the Derby.
There it is.
The big show, and
I was waiting for that.
I'd like to go out there one time, you know, before the Derby and see how we stack up, and then probably hit the Derby. We love going out there for the Derby.
It's always a good time. Yeah, it's always a good time. Rick, you are the man, my friend. I'm so glad. I mean, especially, you know, talking about, you know, the revitalization here of asphalt racing in Texas. I mean, having you a part of this every race, to me is one thing that I see this and I'm like, okay, we're coming back, because it's like guys like you, and you've always been, you know, so receptive anytime that I reach out, you know, whether it be with Mobile or whatever. Man, I'm glad to have you back, dude. It's man, I love having you back in the fold.
Well, you guys make it exciting too. So you make the races. Glad to have you all there. I'm really excited about the team, you know, they put together out there at HMP. It does feel like that vibe is back. And hey, I want to say thanks to Dean Baker. You know, we couldn't do it without Dean Baker letting us do it out there. And Dean actually, I found out after I got home that he found two little old ladies out in the parking lot getting blown by the storm coming in, and
goodness.
They were walking backwards with their arms interlocked, and they were getting blown across the parking lot. And that was my wife and my mother-in-law, her mom, came to the races to come watch me race. And I told them, I said, y'all need to head out to the car. I didn't have my golf cart there, and all the trucks were hooked up to trailers. We're trying to get loaded up, and we had canopies blowing across. And it hadn't really started raining yet. I said, I know you want to say thanks and everything, but y'all really need to get to the car and get on the road and get home before the storm blows in.
Yeah.
And they started walking, and they made it halfway there, and Dean sees them getting, literally blown across the parking lot, and he went and picked them up and took them to the car and made sure they got on the road good. So I want to say thanks to Dean Baker for that.
That's good stuff. He's hands-on yet kind of in the back scene right there, doing a great job right there. I think he and Owen are doing fantastic stuff. Rick, thank you again for always being so anxious to jump on here and just talk racing. Your conversation is always so candid and just to the point. And man, glad you're back, dude. It's fun to watch you out there, buddy.
Yeah, it's off the cuff. I don't read any notes over here. You can tell that for sure.
The best part, my man. That's why it's every time I'm like, let's get Polero on here. He's going to tell us just like it is. That's the best part.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate what you do for racing.
You bet, Rick. Take care. We'll see you soon.
See you, Rick.
Bye.
You bet. There he goes. It really is. I had a conversation with him at Pensacola. I think it was 2 or 3 years ago. We're just sitting up in the stands and just kind of talking to the state of racing. And it's like, we need to figure this thing out and whatever. And he stepped away there for a while. And I really did think that it was a loss. The times that he was not involved with this, but having him, as my wife says, having Palermo back into this is that's a damn good step right there.
Well, having him in multiple aspects of it, right? Not only is he back in the truck, he's talking about everybody kind of forgets about that kick-ass outlaw he's got in the corner of the shop over there, right? So it's him and Robert Barker, they're getting along really good. They park next to each other and everything else. But I think Rick's not going to have a problem trying to go shoulder to shoulder with Robert there to try to go for a couple of $100 bills.
Well, and the whole thing is with that. I mean, you sit and you think about that. I mean, if Rick's going to bring an outlaw out, I mean that's another car. I mean, there you go. There's one more. It builds the car count, and it's just really cool to have these folks out there. And just kind of it does feel normal again. Is you mentioned that, Bobby, and I think I posted something on Speed Zone to where, to me, it was Saturday, even as messed up as the weather was and having to rush through the program, it just felt like it was something to me where it was a pivot. It's like, okay, this is different. This feels like it feels special, and I think it produced that. It seems like.
It sounds like it's not. We weren't the only ones that kind of felt it.
Exactly.
I mean, when the racers kind of buy into it, like Rick was there when it was hot and heavy in the early 2010s, when the stands were packed all the way from turn 4 to turn 1, standing room only, down there on both sides, 1 and 4. So he was right in the middle of the competition. So for him to notice it too, I think is a big step to show that it's actually it's catching fire in a good way. Not that the fire's out of control by no means, but it's definitely catching fire in a good way to where it's the wick is lit and the rocket's getting ready to take off. We just need to make sure that everything. We don't want a Challenger accident. We just want a nice, good, solid bottle rocket to go up and make a big show.
Consistency is okay, and I think that's the main thing that's been lacking. Not to talk about anyone else, that may have tried to do this, but it does seem like the path is right there, and I think it's going to be good. And hey, Father's Day weekend coming up. We got big stuff coming up.
Yeah, it could be lots of big racing. I think they got the big race up there in Arklatex. That's going to be a lot of fun.
That's going to be huge.
I-37 has, what is it called? The Sweaty Balls night there at I-37?
Yeah, you've got 37. They got a big weekend, and the race ranch. I do want to mention that before we get out of here. It's going to be a rough weekend there at the race ranch. I know Owen, talking about all of that there. They lost a very special person in that organization. Larry, the beer man, as they like to call him. Larry, a lot of different things that he did right there. He was the beer man. He was everything that he did. He was an announcer, everything. And for him to just I talked to Owen about this, and Owen, you were there, Bobby. Seeing Owen, I mean, Owen was shook, as the kids say. Yeah. And it was one of those things to where, Larry had confided in him that something was probably going to happen at some point, but it was, it happened way quick. And it's going to be a very emotional weekend there at the race ranch. And of course, that's where you go back to just, love those people. God damn it. That's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah. You just never know. You just never, ever know.
Yeah. Way quick. So you got the race ranch, you got Waco. I mean, all of that coming up. It's going to be a great race weekend. Father's Day, and Father's Day. So how weird for you, Bobby? It was always in the past. Mother's Day weekend, NASCAR took off and all this, but hell, now they're off for Father's Day.
It's weird.
That's when they should race, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's really weird. I don't know exactly what I'm going to do. I thought about maybe going to the race ranch, but I'll be going, spending a weekend outside of Corpus there at the end of the month. So it's kind of like, I don't know, which way to go. Maybe just experience it, all of it there, a race on Texas. A couple of big shows, but Father's Day weekend's always special for us, and as it continues to be for most people. Yep. So it is weird that there won't be any mainstream racing on. IndyCar's racing, but the mainstream stock car series, all three of them are off until Nashville when the new NBC package takes effect.
That's right. The one weekend off for the big timers, and that's okay. I mean, they need a week off. Maybe it'll refine the product a little bit. Maybe.
Just a tick. It might need it just a tick.
Yeah, I agree. They needed to have stage breaks yesterday. I just want to say that.
Yeah, they needed something.
Yeah.
That bulletproof. That just proved that car is bulletproof even more.
Yeah, no doubt. Great show. Talon Willis, 14 years old. What a talent right there. Talking to him, Blake Clark, Rick Polero. Dude, this one right here has been pretty damn good. Alan Alexander checking in. The tide is turning. I'll be goddamn. He is totally right. Sorry for the GD, but it's true.
Well, he's right. He knows. I mean, he's bringing out the cars too. So
That's right. You guys have a great week. We'll do it again next Monday. Thank you all for checking in. That's Bobby down south. I'm Rodney up north. Happy Father's Day, Daddy-O's. Y'all be good. # Real Race Talk from Texas, the Revved Up Sports Show.
Peace.